Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsy's Guitar World and welcome to my favourite time of the week, guitar shopping online. So it's Saturday night, the family are all in bed or watching TV and I'm online looking on Zenmarket, Japanese proxy bidding site, to buy anything from Japan I guess, but just buy guitars. So let's have a look. So this is the front page of Zenmarket. Now what it is, it's like eBay, but it's for Japanese websites. I think it's mostly Yahoo Japan, things like that. And you create an account with Zenmarket. You deposit your funds into that account, and then they'll bid on your behalf for instruments in Japan. They'll purchase the instruments and get delivered to the warehouse, and then store them until you decide to get them shipped. And then they'll arrange for international shipping as well. So all you do is you go online, buy something, you pay your money, and then a week later it arrives at your door. Incredible stuff. Now obviously one of the problems is you don't get to play the instrument before you buy it, so you're really going on the description, but then that's just like eBay. You know, somebody describes something, puts some photographs, and you purchase the instrument based on that. Same thing. It's just it's slightly further away. So here's the front page of Zenmarket. Now what I do is I go to Yahoo Auctions, and look at that, you can buy anime paradise, buy all your favourite anime goods and merchandise. That's not really my thing. Culture and hobbies, and then musical instruments, tools and materials. And there we go. And that takes us to the main page of all the instruments and tools and materials. So if we go down here and look on the left hand side, it has categories. So we've got guitar. So I mean, I'm only doing this for guitars. If you want to buy a percussion instrument, you would click on percussion instrument, but I'm just doing guitars. You click on guitar, and then again on the left hand side it has categories, electric guitar, and then we go to body. We're buying a body. And that gets us into the main sort of page for electric guitars. Now what they do is, again on the left hand side, they have the main sort of subcategories: BC Rich, or BC Riki, ESP, PRS, Ibanez, Aria, Epiphone, Gibson, Kramer, Greco, Gretsch, Schecter, Charvel, Jackson, Tokai, Bacchus instruments, very nice instruments, very expensive instruments. Fernandez, Fender, Photogenic, Yamaha, Rickenbacker, Washburn, and other. So other is just everything that's not in those previous categories. So me personally, I always go to the Greco subcategory first. Click on that. Now to sort these out, what you do is on the left hand side there's a filter. Current price, minimum, current price, maximum. Buyout price, I don't tend to do that. Buyout price is just like eBay when you buy now. I tend to go for this. Minimum, maximum. Now the story is, I sold 3 guitars this week. So I have £430 UK to spend on Zenmarket. So what I would do is, now what you have to remember is it costs money to get posted. You pay 300 yen for Zenmarket to purchase item for you, and then you have to pay shipping within Japan to get it shipped from the buyer to Zenmarket's warehouse. Then you have to pay international shipping, and then depending on where you live, if you're outside Japan, you have to pay whatever customs and excise duty is when the item comes in. Now, basically in the UK, Scotland, I like to say Scotland, basically in Scotland, it's about 22.5% of the purchase price and the cost of international shipping. So you're not just paying on how much you paid for the instrument, you're actually paying on how much it cost to get it delivered to you in Scotland. So you have to remember that. And international shipping, at the moment there's a special offer with FedEx, I think, who are doing it for half price. So I tend to add £50 on to cover internal Japan shipping and international shipping. So what you do is, whatever you paid for the instrument, add £50 on, and then it's 22.5% of that, and that's the total cost of the instrument. That's how much it's going to cost you to get to your door. The other thing you have to remember is some of these are shops, so they have to pay VAT in Japan. So when you look at an auction, it will tell you if it's a shop and what percentage of VAT you have to pay as well. So you have to remember all these things. I mean, the very first time you look at Zenmarket, it's just unbelievable the stuff you can get and the prices. I mean, it just seems like the cheapest thing in the whole world if you're buying Japanese guitars. But you do have to remember there's a lot of add-ons. It's not just as simple as click a button and that's all it costs, and it arrives 2 days later. It's not as easy as that. So you have to put your thinking hat on. I've got my Carolina Mudcaps hat on. That's my thinking cap. And I always find while shopping online, you always make your best decisions while having a beer. So I have £430 just now. I'm selling another guitar tomorrow, so I'll get a bit of money tomorrow, probably 150. So the 150 will cover shipping and tax, etc. to get it to my door. So I'm going to be looking here for a guitar that's going to cost £430 on the auction. The 150 quid I get tomorrow, that'll cover everything else. So what I do is I tend to go in here, I've got 430, so I'll fire in 250 minimum, because a lot of the stuff is buy now, a lot of the stuff starts at a lower price and gets bid up. So I'll go to 250 and my maximum will be 430. So if I stick 430 in, then I'll catch the stuff that's going to be buy now, £430. And then I always click on used. I mean, don't make Grecos anymore anyway, but if you're searching any of the other subcategories, you know, there's obviously new stuff for sale. I tend to just buy used guitars. I mean, I don't see the point of buying a new guitar. I mean, they're so expensive. Guitars are really bloody expensive, especially Gibson guitars. And I love Gibson guitars, but you know, they're really expensive. But the resale value, I mean, as soon as you buy a new guitar and cross the shop door and walk outside, it's lost a third of its value. That's how the used instrument market works. So I always buy used guitars. I guess if you buy a new one, then it's, you know, it's covered by warranty or something. You know, if the neck falls off or something, you can get it fixed. But you know, if you can set a guitar up, you know, change the action, intonation, etc., etc., pickups, whatever. I mean, nothing. You don't have to do a full fret job. You can just do a bit of basic work and just buy a second-hand one. Save yourself a fortune. So I've clicked on used, seller, all. I mean, you can specify shop or person. As I say, if it's a shop, you're liable to get charged VAT as well, but I just go for all. So I've got 250, 430, used guitar, seller, all, and then click apply. So that's now found all the guitars in the Greco subcategory between £250 and £430. So you can then sort them by this button here, sort by. Now, I mean, it depends how you want to do it. If you have the money in your account, you can just do, you know, ending soon. So something's ending soon, you can just fire an offer in and you could win it in the next 5 minutes. But I'm not in any particular hurry to buy a guitar, so I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, I have a few guitars. So I tend to just I'll go with my price. So I have £430. So I just go from high to low. Start off high, 430. So if something's there buy now for £430, then I'll go bang, buy it. So let's look. So at £471.56. Now for some reason it always goes a bit above what you pin as your maximum bid, but don't know why that happens. But it's not a huge amount, but it does go above your minimum sort of bid. So I'll just scroll down till we get to 430. So there's the first one there. So this is a Greco EG700R red sunburst, Les Paul standard red sunburst, U2000 humbuckers times 2, and it seems to be from July 1977. So if you click on that, it opens in a new window, very handily opens in a new window, and there you get the guitar itself. So if we look at this now, here on the right hand side you'll see current price 60,000 yen, which is the equivalent of £430 13 pence, and the buyout price 60,000 yen, £430 and 13 pence. So basically this seller is just looking for, he or she wants £430 and 13 pence. So it's like eBay buy now. I mean, he doesn't want anybody to offer lower. He's happy with £430 and 13 pence. So, and that auction ends. If you go down, I mean, it's quite good here because it shows you the amount of bids. If you're bidding on an auction, you can see how many people you're bidding against. I mean, some of these I look at and there's 50, 60 bids, and I think there's people really want this guitar, so I tend to be priced out of these auctions. So there's no bids on this, which makes sense because he's not looking for bids, he's just looking for someone to buy it. VAT, so there's no VAT to pay on this. As I say, it can be 10% that you have to pay VAT, so it can mount up. So there's no VAT. You can't return the guitar. Shipping within Japan isn't free, so you have to pay to get it shipped to Zenmarket. Now, these ones are quite interesting. Early finish and automatic extension. Now, what that is, the seller can, if they put early finish, if they're not going to get what they want, they can just end the auction just there and then. They don't have to go all the way to get to the end. Just finish it. And the automatic extension is really quite strange. If this is an auction, say someone wants £430 for an instrument, and he has a few bids and only goes to 400, it's like putting a reserve price on eBay. So if it gets to when the auction runs out and he hasn't got the £430, it automatically extends the auction. I don't think they have to do anything. So Yahoo Japan just continue the auction until they get what they want. So it's basically like a reserve bid on eBay. Now the description is automatically translated by Google Translate, which is usually pretty good, but you do see some funny things, like guitars can be described as top banana. You don't want to pay £430 for a top banana if you're looking for a Greco Les Paul. So here's a description. Greco is EG700R Les Paul standard red sunburst U2000 humbucker pickups 1977-07. It is a thing you get a used article, specify the specification, manufacturer Greco, model EG700, neck 3 pieces, 5 piece for head, ebony fingerboard, nice. Body 2-piece solid plain maple top, 2-ply piece mahogany back, red sunburst. It comes with U2000 humbuckers, which these guitars shipped with, so it must be the original pickups. Controls, bridge. And then some of them there's quite a lengthy description of the instrument. This one's quite good actually. the person's put a lot of detail in this. I mean, some of them are very, very basic, but this one's very good. So the person's actually specified the whole thing. One thing to watch out for is truss rod adjustment and frets, because a lot of these guitars, you see these older guitars, I guess like any older guitars, need fret work. I mean, actually need refretted. They've been played to death, these things. So they're saying warp was slightly adjusted, but the truss rod's still there is room. Decrease of fret will be a little found in 9F Atari from 3-string 1F from the first string. Peg is a thing of the model corresponding specifications. Who knows what that means? But it's been automatically translated by Google. I don't speak Japanese, so I have to go by what Mr. Google tells me. Again, it describes pickups, stuff like that. So that's really good. This is a really good auction. This is the person who's really spent a lot of time, a lot of information included in this auction. Now, once you've read the description, really you have to just go on the pictures. I don't know if there's a sort of default maximum pictures you're allowed to upload, but this seems to be about 8 pictures on this one. So it's really just a case of clicking on these and investigating. And then every time you click on one, opens the next one up. So I mean, the headstock looks in pretty good shape in this one. No, it's not loads of flame on the body, but it's a solid top. There's a serial number. Greco serial numbers start with a G for the month, and then the next 2 letters are the year, so it's July 77. Still got the Greco branded tuners. No volute either. Looks like a nice guitar. So if you do like an item, you add it to what's called your watch list, so you can watch it. And the add to watch list is here on the right hand side. Add to watch list. Now, funny enough, this is already in my watch list. I'm watching this one. I mean, the thing is, if somebody comes along with £430 and 13 pence, they'll get this before me. So, you know, there's thousands of instruments there. There's no hurry to buy anything. You know, it's always better to have a quick beer just to calm the nerves. So that's that one. So that's already in my watch list. And then it's just a case of scrolling down through them. See, they've got all these different. But now, when you're scrolling through them, if you've already added something to your watch list, like this 1980 Greco EG 480, which is one of the lower models. I mean, I don't know why I'm watching it at £415. In fact, what I'll do is I'll click on the red bit that says remove from watch list. So it's gone forever. Well, not forever. I can add it again if I'm feeling a bit stupid. As I said, you know, when you're scrolling through, it shows you what you're already watching. And I'm watching this 1977 MR600, which is a Mick Ralph's model, double cutaway. It looks quite nice. I mean, I think these models are all maple with 24 frets. I don't know much about them, but anything I've heard, any reviews I've read, seems to say they're quite a trebly instrument with it being all maple. And I'm not a huge fan of 24 frets. I don't know why I'm watching this, but who knows. In fact, I'll tell you why I'm watching this. Because probably half the guitars that I buy, in fact probably all the guitars that I buy, are for sale at some point. You know, if somebody offers me the right money, then I'm quite happy to sell it. So what I tend to do is I tend to buy, obviously A, a guitar that I can afford, B, a guitar that I like the look of, and C, a guitar that perhaps needs a little bit of work that I can sell on at some point, you know, for a slight profit, so that I can then put that back into buying something else. So I guess £394.28. It's got 5 days and 15 hours to go, so you know that's going to go up anyway. But what I'll do is I'll look on Reverb and just anywhere on the net really at what the guitar is and find how much it's sold for in previous sales. So I mean I've looked at this one and £394 plus 50 shipping, probably another 50 for tax and stuff like that. So that's going to end up being costing me £500 to get it to my door. I've maybe checked out and these go for £550, £560 in the UK, so you know I could make £50, £60. And if you make £50 or £60 on every guitar that you flip, then you know you'll end up with Jimi Hendrix's Woodstock Stratocaster in 50 years or something like that. So you know it's worth sticking in there. So we're continuing down. So that's all the Grecos. I've got loads of these in my watch list. What you can do then, so at the moment I'm just looking at Grecos. If you go to the left hand side, it shows here categories and you're at body in the subcategory Greco. But if you go back to just body again, just there on the left hand side, click on that and then go back to categories again. Then you can go back to all the subcategories. I was quite thinking I maybe need a Telecaster. I wouldn't mind another Telecaster. So if I go to Fender and go to, again, I'll go for 250, 430, used, and click apply. And then up here in the search bar it's actually got search and it's got in this category, so you can click on that. If I put Telecaster Japan, and it's only going to search Fender Japan Telecasters. Within my price range again I'll sort by, say I go high to low, just in case there's a buy one now at £430. Well, I need to do the reset again. 250, 430, used, apply. So there we go, that's all the Fender Japan Telecasters. I mean, they have Gibsons and loads of American guitars and Burns and UK guitars and stuff as well on Zenmarket, but I don't really see the point in buying an American Gibson from Japan and paying all the import duty in that when I can just buy a second hand one here. I mean, it might work out, I don't know, maybe cheaper, but it just seems like a lot of hassle. There's plenty of used Gibsons in the UK. There's not a whole lot of Grecos or other Japanese guitars, so I tend to just shop for Japanese stuff here. So if we're looking through these, get down to my 430. So there's plenty of Fenders. I'm watching this one, a rare colour, a Fender TL62B TX OCR, and I'm watching the one below it, which is buyout 430. So let's look at the rare colour. So this one there's no buyout on this, so that the person's looking to bid up from £415. This is a red Telecaster, double bound red telly, rosewood neck. Fender Japan, very nice instrument. So yeah, they're looking for The minimum bid is £415.79. So I mean, if you wanted to bid, you would click on the place a bid. I mean, I won't go all the way through this because I don't know if I want this. And I think, to be honest, I've looked at the prices in these, and I think, you know, if I bid £415, I'll get outbid, and I'm not. I mean, I would buy it for £415, £430, but I'm not prepared to get into a war with someone who really wants it. So if you click on place a bid, it comes up, and it'll ask me to make a deposit. The thing with Zenmarket is they only offer very limited credit, and it all depends on how many packages you've had from them. I think mine's was at 20,000, it's now at 5,000 yen, which is not a whole lot of UK pounds. So you have to deposit money into your account. You can do that from PayPal, you can do it from bank account, do it from a credit card, debit card. So you have to put the money in your account before they'll bid on anything. And you also have to pay for shipping and have your account in credit before they'll post anything to you. So, but I mean, they're very good. I've had no issues with them whatsoever. It's been an absolutely fantastic service. So I can't bid on this anyway because I don't have any money in my account. So that's on my watch list now. To look at your watch list, you go to my account, come down to watch list, and this is all the stuff that I've added. So if you look at my balance, I've got 1,128 yen, which, you know, if it was 1,128 British pounds, that'd be fantastic, but it's not a whole lot of money. So your watch list shows up depending on how long the auction has to go. So this one's got 11 hours and 8 minutes, 30 hours, 22 minutes, etc. So this is all. What I tend to do is, you know, one night of the week I'll just go on, I just look through this for a couple of hours and then work out how much money I have, and then just add, you know, 30, 40, just a quick look at 30, 40 instruments which come into my price range, and just add them to my watch list, and then on a Saturday night I'll just I'll go through them and look at them more in depth. I mean, to be honest, probably 90% of them I just have a quick look at and just delete, but you know, it's good to do that, because then you've got the whole thing, a couple of years, and you can make an informed decision at the end of the evening on what you want to spend your money on. So looking through these, it's mostly Les Pauls, although as I said, I'm looking for a Telecaster as well. Now I don't know much about Yamaha SGs apart from the fact that they can go for quite a lot of money in the UK. So if we look at this one, so this is a SG 800. I mean, they're nice guitars. I've never really liked playing them. They just seem like really heavy, and I'm not a big fan of double cutaways either, but you know, all things considered, that's a nice guitar. £414.36, and there's no buy it now, so you have to bid against people. I would suspect if you bid £414.36, the auction would just keep going. The guy must be wanting more than this, I would suspect. If he wanted £414.36, he would have put out buy it now. So I think I had a look at these in the UK, and you know, I reckon by the time I paid all my stuff, that'd be, you know, 500, 550 or something like that. And I think these can go for £700 or something. So I mean, it could be a good investment. You could buy it, fix it up if it needs fixed up, and then flip it. But you know, it's always a risk as well. Like I said, you're basing your purchase on Google translated description and on 8 photographs. So the last thing you do is want to be dropping £414.36 plus £100 on an instrument that A, you don't really like, and B, doesn't play very well, and C, you can't sell. So yeah, I've looked at this. I've added it to my watch list. But if I'm being honest, you know, I'd buy it for 414, but I probably won't go ahead with that one. I'll just delete that. And you do see some things that you really fancy, like this one. This is a Fernandez. So it's got what's called the Fernandez Stone logo, which I think were 77 to 1980ish or something like that. If you look at the logo, Fernandez Corporation. And if you look at the guitar, man, this is a beautiful guitar. It's a replica of Robbie Robertson's Last Waltz Strat. It's not been dipped in bronze, but it's very nice all the same. I mean, looks in really beautiful condition as well. I mean, it's got the same knobs that Robbie had on his as well, same position for the pickups. There's Robbie with his. Decent tuners as well. I'm not sure what year Robbie's was, but 50s anyway, 54 or something, I don't know. But so I mean, I'm keeping an eye on this one. But £430 and 13 pence. I mean, if it had been buy it now, I would have bought it then. I'd be doing this video saying, here's what I've just bought. But I think this will go up, and it's got, if you look down, so there's no bidders, 0% VAT. There's an early finish, yes, automatic extension. So the person's looking for more than £430 and 13 pence. I had a quick look on the internet, and I couldn't find another one of these Robbie Robertson Strats. Well, I could find a Fender one, but I just couldn't afford it. So this is obviously really rare. I don't know how much it will go for. Might end up going for, I don't know, 500-600 or something like that. The good thing about Japanese manufacturers, well, I mean, I think is a good thing, they were doing like signature models years before Fender and Gibson Custom Shop. I mean, you could buy Ace Frehley signature, you could buy Peter Frampton signature guitars, you can buy Robbie Robertson signature guitars, and this is probably 1979, so they were doing, I mean, I understand they're obviously copies of American manufactured guitars, but you know, at that point in time, you couldn't get them anywhere. You could only get them in Japan. So there's a whole raft of like incredible Randy Rhoads signature, Les Pauls, Phil Collins stuff as well, Paul Stanley Destroyers, everything like that. It's just really, really great. I mean, if you're into guitar history, it's fantastic. You can just go on here and you can buy a Robbie Robertson Stratocaster for, you know, could end up being £600, but it's great. And Japanese guitar stuff, you know, there's some really cheap stuff, but tends to be, once they get to the sort of later 70s and thereon, it's just the quality is absolutely incredible. You know, really, really incredible stuff. So there we go. So that finishes in 14 hours and 35 minutes. Let's have a look on my list. So in the next 24 hours up until 11 o'clock on Sunday night, I've got a few things ending, probably half a dozen things ending. I've got what's this one? I've got now I don't want any of you guys going on and outbidding me on any of this stuff. So I've got a Tokai Les Paul, Love Rock, 1981 Les Paul. Tokai stuff's nice. I mean, these older things as well, you like any old guitar, I mean, this is 1981, so it's going to have a few bashes, a few bumps and stuff like that. But it's always a really good thing to check the fretwork. That looks okay. A few scratches on the top. I mean, if I was just going to keep this guitar for myself, I'm not really worried about some scratches on the top. But if you're ever going to try and resell this, you know the first thing the person's going to say, "Oh, the top's a bit scratched, Dunsy. 50 quid off for that." Doesn't make any difference to how it plays, but you know, I'd be the same myself. I'd be going, "Oh, I need 50 quid off, that's scratched." That's a nice guitar. I tend to avoid Tokais. I mean, the reason being, they've reissued Love Rocks that are like, you know, half the price of these, and I don't know whether they're made by Cort or something like that, Indonesian or Korean made. Which I'm not knocking these guitars, but they're at a price point and it's obviously much cheaper. So if I go on to whatever it is, like a local marketplace, and I'm trying to sell a Tokai Love Rock for £500, there'll be other people trying to sell used Tokai Love Rocks for 250 quid. There's obviously a huge difference in the quality of the guitar, but if you're a buyer, and if you're if you don't know much about guitars, if you're not a hugely experienced guitar player, you're just starting out, I mean, you would buy the £250 Tokai Love Rock rather than give the old beardy guy £500 for his. I mean, I would when I was that age. So it's on my watch list. It's got 10 hours, 11 hours to go, and it's £286.75. Again, it's not buying now, so that's going to go up, but you know, if that went to £320, I think £320 is a decent price for that. Adding on all your shipping and other costs as well. We've got the SG, what's this one? Fender Japan TLG 8055, black Telecaster with gold hardware. I remember looking at this. I mean, again, if you look at the body, if you were trying to resell this, the people would just be saying, that's beat up. Ironically enough, if you got it done by the Fender Custom Shop, they would charge you an extra £2,000 for doing that to it. So that looks nice. I mean, fresh looking, decent condition as well. Another thing you find about Japan is because of the climate in all of the country, it's very humid. There's a lot of oxidization, difficult word for me to say, on the hardware. So if you look at this, I mean, that's not a particularly old guitar, so you can imagine when you get a 70s guitar, because it's so humid, it's been really pitted and worn on the hardware. It's quite a difficult climate on the hardware. So you need to be aware that I've had a few Les Pauls where the bridge has been so corroded that I've just had to buy a new Goto bridge, which luckily Goto bridges fit Japanese instruments. So that's nice. He's wanting £415 for that. I think that's a decent price. So his current price £358.44. So you can bid on it, or you can buy it for an extra, what's that, £50-60. If I was buying it for me, I'd probably go to 400. I'm saying, like I buy these, I keep them for a while, maybe I'll move on. I think I'd be struggling to get what I paid for it, simply because it's not in pristine condition now. So maybe. What else is here? Oh, that's that Greco red one. So as you can see, I've got a few things ended in the next. I quite like to look at this one, as I say. Again, I've already said I don't know much about Yamaha SGs, but I like to look at this one. That's a nice looking SG 800 standard. Frets look in good shape as well. Looks in very good condition. Yes, I mean, that's a nice guitar. I've never seen another one in that colour, so I guess it's going to fetch quite a bit more money because it's so rare. But so how many bids we've got? We've got 2 bids and we're at £326. If we look a bit further down, sometimes the seller puts more detailed photographs. I don't know much about Yamaha serial numbers, to be honest. So there's a bit of cracking along the face of the headstock there. Some abrasions, dents. Looks nice though. Looks like a very nice guitar. Could be worth a bid. I mean, I'd imagine if you got this to the UK, you could maybe flip this and get make a decent profit on that. And then I've got a few Telecasters. So I like the look of this one as well. This is a Fender Japan 62 Telecaster. I mean that looks really pretty nice. A few dents around where the input jack is. Frets look a bit pitted up there. G-string might need a bit of work there. Crafted in Japan. Nice looking guitar though, but even just a quick look at that, I'm thinking possibly needs some fretwork. So if it does need fretwork and you can't do it yourself, you know, you're adding an extra £100 onto the cost of your instrument. And the more experience you get at looking at these things, the more you, like, you know, it doesn't take me long just to look at something and think, nah, that's not worth it. Or, you know, I could maybe, you know, A, that's a nice guitar, B, I'd play it, C, if I sold it I would at least get my money. I mean, you just have to build up your experience to know these things, and the more you look at it, the easier it gets. So that's the ones I've got going tomorrow. As I say, I've got one that I would definitely like, but I think it'll go higher than what I would pay for. So looking further down, now this finishes in a day and a half or something like that. And Edwards, this is really nice. This is a double bound Sunburst Telecaster by Edwards, who are part of the ESP group. I mean, that's really nice. So this person's selling for £391, 3p, and you know, you can buy it now for £391 and the 3p. So I quite like the look of that. But again, it's like everything I said earlier, you know, if I had to sell this on to someone in the UK, Edwards isn't a brand that a lot of people are familiar with. There's enough people who are familiar with it who may make you an offer, but you know, if you put on the general market, people would just say, Edwards, I've never heard of them, I'd rather buy a Fender or a Squire. It's understandable, you know, if you'd never heard of the brand, you would stick with the brand you do know. But I would suspect this is much better made than a Squire. Nothing against Squires, as you've seen, I've got Squire Telecasters. So that finishes 1 day and 8 hours. That's a possible? I don't know. See, I'm not in any particular hurry to buy a guitar. I've got money there I can transfer, and I might just wait till the right thing comes up. So there we are. That was a long time looking at the internet in the company of an old Scottish guy drinking beer. There you go. I hope that was interesting and perhaps informative. I mean, I've had a couple of messages about people saying, you know, how do you get these guitars from Japan? But Zenmarket is just like eBay. You know, you bid on something, someone does the work for you and sends it on to you. So it's like eBay, but it's like, you know, 5,000 miles away, unless you live in Japan, in which case it's 5 miles away. I don't know. So thanks for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll do you an update with what I purchased, do an update next weekend to see what I got. Thanks for watching. Cheers for now.